One of the best ways to learn about retirement is by listening to someone who is already retired. What major mistakes can you avoid, and what behavior can you implement today to ensure you reach your retirement goals? Will retirement really be as enjoyable as it's made out to be? You might be surprised by this advice coming from retirees. Pay attention to the last tip because if you don't, it could be nearly impossible to have an enjoyable retirement. My name is Chris, and I help teach people about money, personal finance, and investing. If you're interested in improving your financial future, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if this video is helpful. Structure your savings. One of the most common mistakes is failing to direct money to savings on a regular basis. A typical mentality is, I'll save when I have a little extra. In reality, money should be directed towards savings regularly, every week, bi-weekly, or monthly. A common misconception, and one that scares people away from beginning to save, is that you need to save a lot of money. It absolutely doesn't need to be a large percentage of your income. Starting to save 10% of your pay on a regular basis is sometimes all that's needed. It can always be increased over time. Even if you can only afford to save 5% of your income, that's fine too, as increases can be made down the road. Many retirees regret not implementing a structure for their savings early on in their career. Don't retire as soon as possible. Most people trying to achieve financial freedom make it their primary goal to retire as soon as they possibly can. It seems like the end goal to lounge around all day with very few obligations and no need to go to work. Many people who retire end up going back to work, and not because they need the money. Retiring early can be boring for a variety of reasons. There will be many recreational opportunities during retirement, but after a few months of going to the park, meeting with your book club, and even traveling, things will get boring. Also, it's worth considering that most of your friends and family could still be working. Will you really get sick of retirement? Maybe not, but many retirees do find it boring. Consider staying at a job that you find fulfilling. You'll also receive a financial benefit from letting your money grow for a little longer. A couple more years on the job can make a big difference in your budget when you do retire. Working part-time is also an excellent alternative that can allow you to enjoy the best of both retirement and work. Focus on growing your money. Saving a portion of your income should be a priority, but you need to go a step further than that. Instead of focusing on just saving cash, you should be focusing on how you can invest that money so it will grow. When you have a substantial amount of money saved up, further wealth building will be the result of the returns you're able to achieve and less about how much you're able to save. For example, a $1 million nest egg could grow an average of $100,000 annually in the S&P 500. Chances are that $100,000 is much more than you could save from your paycheck. Select the best investments based on the amount of work you're willing to do, in addition to your risk tolerance and time horizon. Don't underestimate the importance of selecting the investments that best align with your goals. Realize that retiring won't make you happy. If you're working a toxic job and can't wait to quit, retiring might be a relief. Retiring could solve some of your problems, but it won't change your baseline level of happiness. A common misconception is that once you can finally retire, you'll be much happier and you'll finally be able to enjoy life on your own time. The freedom that can come from retirement can certainly provide a level of happiness because you'll no longer feel forced to go to work. However, there are new issues that can arise during retirement, such as finding ways to fill up your days and reach a point of fulfillment. Essentially, you're trading in the worries of a worker for the worries of a retiree. They may or may not be as significant, but they're still worth considering. Don't see retirement as the end goal that will provide ultimate happiness. Instead, have realistic expectations so it will be easier to adapt to a more relaxed lifestyle. Know that your life will change dramatically. It's underestimated how much of our life revolves around working, and not necessarily in a bad way. Retirees often feel lonely, especially when they spend the majority of their life working in a team setting. You might take the days of casually chatting with your coworkers for granted and miss those relationships after retiring. You can still have fun meeting with friends and family for lunch or a round of golf, but nothing quite matches that of a casual coworkers relationship. Furthermore, it can be hard to relate to others when you retire early. Many people your age can have a life that looks much different than yours, and it can be harder to find common ground. Their free time may be spent running errands and doing chores, and they won't have as much time for recreation. Scale down your housing. This might not seem like that big of a deal, but housing is the largest expense of the average household, and its cost can have a big impact on your finances. About 1/3 of people's total spending goes to their housing. Living in a more economical property or house hacking can reduce or even eliminate this expense entirely. It's much easier to do things such as travel when a smaller percentage of your income is being spent on a mortgage, taxes, maintenance, utilities, and so on. According to Bank of America, the average total monthly cost for housing is $1,709. That's how much it costs for an average home. Now consider someone who wants to keep up with the Joneses, buy a bigger and better home, and double their monthly housing expense. You might have a nicer house with better curb appeal, but will spending $3,418 per month really make you twice as happy? You'll be surprised how little money you actually need when you're wise with these large spending categories. Know that your retirement will be personal. A typical retirement might sound something like downsizing your home, decreasing your spending, and watching every penny, but that doesn't have to be the case. Retirement, particularly early retirement, looks different for everyone. Some people might decide to sell most of what they own and live in an RV full-time. Others might spend their time abroad, while others might continue working on a small scale. Some want retirement to be a time where they can spend as much money as they want without a tight budget. The good part about being able to retire is that you can decide exactly how you want it to look and adjust it as you learn and your preferences change. Want to go back to work? You can do that. Want to travel for a few years and then settle down in one area? That's an option too. Keep in mind that while you might think that you know exactly how your retirement will look, you'll likely want to make changes along the way, and it might end up looking unlike anything you'd imagined. Invest in your health. It's easy to get caught up working overtime, stressing over your job, and putting your health on the back burner, but wealth doesn't exist without good health. Paying attention to your health is perhaps the most important thing that will allow you to enjoy your retirement. Think of a time when you were sick. Probably the only thing you wanted was to feel better, and nothing else seemed to matter. Retirement will be hard to enjoy if you're not healthy. Poor health can restrict your ability to do and enjoy daily activities and hobbies, and can also require frequent doctor's visits, appointments, medications, and other less than exciting things. It's much more difficult to enjoy traveling, relaxing, and spending time with those who are important to you with those things getting in the way. On top of that, poor health can ruin your financial plan. Make your health a priority throughout your lifetime so you're able to do the things you enjoy later on. This includes exercising regularly, eating properly, and avoiding unhealthy habits. While every retirement journey is unique, it can be beneficial to take advice from those who have the experience. Taking note of these tips will allow you to enjoy your retirement and time before to the fullest.